Welcome to episode 17 of Get Your Buzz On. I have special guest.
How you guys doing?
Oh, your name?
My name's Rick Moreno, guys. Pleasure to meet everyone.
And you are with?
I'm with Moreno Real Estate Group.
He's the broker, and he actually got me to do some red wine today, so we're gonna try Dark Horse. I'm not a good wine connoisseur, so the guy said it was good, so let's see how
Red wine's always good. It's an antioxidant, so it'll be good. Thank you,
like, no
Appreciate
problem. I'm not like I said, I'm a bad judge of it, but.
What have you guys been usually drinking?
Champagne.
Champagne, keeping it light?
Champagne, what else did we have? Whiskey.
Keeping it light, but behind the scenes?
Yeah, exactly. Behind the scenes, we're going crazy.
Okay, got it.
Cheers, my man.
Cheers, salud. Salud, amiga.
Let's see. That's good.
Yes, red wine's always good.
That's good.
Really
That's not
good.
bad. Well, I'm kind of like, the reason why I don't drink it too is because it gets my teeth all red. So at the end of this, if my teeth are all red.
You just gotta pour in the back of the tongue.
Well, and then it gets on my lipstick. It's a whole ordeal.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, that's why it's easier just to do vodka and I don't have to worry
Complexity
about
of a woman.
Yeah, those are first world problems. I understand.
Exactly.
So how have you been during all this COVID and everything going on?
In regards personal, business, family?
Business, everything. Let's get down to it.
Well, you know, I'm just really blessed and grateful to be here. I mean, I know a lot of people get really apprehensive when they start talking about social distancing and whatnot, especially early on. I got a lot of ugly messages when I even posted anything about being with my family. But to each their own. I mean, to each their own. My parents are 71, and I did it the opposite way. Instead of me going and never seeing my parents, I did not want to have that on my conscience, and all I wanted to do was be around them. So I usually see them once or twice a week. I started seeing them 4 or 5 times a week. They got used to my germs. They got used to everything. And so I don't know. Were you different? I don't want to offend you.
No, because here's my thing.
Yeah.
First of all, I think everyone that they said, especially now you're seeing the hits. So I mean, I'm just gonna, I'm controversial, whatever.
Yeah.
But these doctors are getting paid when they diagnose COVID.
Absolutely.
So is the hospital.
Absolutely.
So even, so like if someone's 80 plus, they're gonna put COVID because they get $39,000 for their hospital.
Absolutely.
So, and I feel like I'm very
So are you saying that some of these deaths are not COVID related?
No.
I got it. Okay, I agree.
No,
agree.
I'm like, I think they have a lot of people that I've known that have passed away. It's been because of cancer, because of underlying issues.
Yeah, other issues that really impacted. But we need a scapegoat. That's what we're at right now in America. We need a scapegoat. We need a way out and an exit point. And so it's unfortunate. But I just took the opposite way. I was going to see, it was a tight circle. I social distance from everyone else. I closed my office. My agents, I saw them from afar. But my mom and dad and my kiddos, I was going to see them as many times as possible.
Yeah, and our kids honestly carry more germs than anyone.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I agree. I was with you. I was like, and I feel like.
You work with your parents, so you have to see them.
Yeah.
Did anyone give you help by spending more time with parents at their house?
No, I think everyone pretty knows I don't care. I'm like, I respect everyone's decisions, but I'm like, this is where I'm at. I'm not, and I just feel bad for my kids because they weren't able to go to school. They weren't able to have their routine. That's how I felt.
I got a lot of hater, because I don't do professional TikTok stuff. You're awesome, you know, but I got a few haters locally that whenever I put out a video or any content, whether it be small post or actual professional video, I got some haters coming in my inbox.
Why?
You know, just saying like, practice social distancing, stuff like that. And I do. It's only the people that are tight with me. I don't go to Walmart. I see people go to Walmart. And I need a freaking game plan to go there. Like I don't have the patience. I don't like going to the grocery store to begin with. And so, I just like, I don't get it. And then you start scrolling their stuff and then you realize they're not practicing it. It's just a load of crap for me.
Yeah, I think it's not going to go away. No. We need to just start working our way around it. And
Absolutely, navigate. Businesses are dying, Victoria.
Yeah,
as long as people stay safe and put masks on, we need to get the American people back to work.
Yeah, I saw this post that one of my friends had posted, and it said, COVID's killing more businesses than it is people. And really it is. And like, we're not feeling it as much, but I know my friends in the restaurant industry are for sure.
Absolutely.
Or the people in the beauty industry and the bigger cities, they are for sure feeling it.
Absolutely.
And they don't understand that, yes, the bigger picture of it all.
You know, but what I've noticed is that, especially here in El Paso, and living in LA and New York, what I've noticed is that businesses, like you mentioned the service industry, like a restaurant. The businesses who adapted and said, screw this, I'm not going to just completely shut down. I'm going to adapt. I'm going to evolve. I'm going to do takeout. I'm going to partner up with Uber Eats. I'm going to do something just so that way we could maybe not be profitable. The margins are going to be substantially skinnier, but they're able to at least survive.
Yeah.
At least survive. Some just flat out closed and they're not gonna make it. Bars are gonna suffer.
Yeah.
Some bar owners, because they're not liquid. They don't have enough capital. Everything's over leveraged. So it's a different topic, but.
No, and like I said, we 100%. This is why we're friends. We get along with it. We have the same viewpoint. So
There you go.
And what a lot of people don't know is you were grown up, raised here, and then you went to college up in NYU. How was that experience for you?
You know what? I mean, I hate saying it, but like I'm a proud El Pasoan, and that's why I came back. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have come back, right? I lived in LA. I have my undergrad there, graduated from Cal Poly, and then I got accepted into NYU to start my grad program. Keep in mind, my high school, Anthony High School, at that time, you know where Anthony Exit Zero is at? All right, Anthony Exit Zero. That's where. So people don't know that my high school at the time was one hallway. It was one hallway. No diversity. It was all Latinos.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two token white people, maybe one black person. I mean, but I think our graduating class, I may be off completely, maybe 20 to 30 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 20 to 30 people. So something small. It was something substantially small. So for you to go to that, to NYU had 125,000 people, and you literally, NYU breaks it down into graduating cohorts, so it's like small clusters. They want you to become family because you'll get lost in the biggest city in the country. So once you enter into the grad program, they put you into like a family or cohort, and that cohort's probably like 100 people. So I was the only Latino in my graduating cohort, and for sure the only Mexicano. So that's when, Pasoans complain about what's going on with society, but we were spoiled rotten. The majority, if you're Latino here, the majority of the people here resonate with what you believe in. You may have some differences here or there, but we don't really face discrimination. We really don't, and it wasn't until that I was over there that I saw I got a bust. I got to bust it because I'm not the smartest one anymore, and the people there, Victoria, you only get accepted at that time. You only get accepted if you're amazingly wealthy or freaking smart. And I realized I wasn't as smart as I thought I was, because when you're there, the socioeconomic awareness of all these other people, like some of my schoolmates, their dads own hedge fund companies that trade on the stock floor, and they live in the freaking Hamptons. I eat beans and rice every freaking day. Yeah. The social economic intelligence that they carried just to a table was absurdly higher than mine. So for me to compensate, I had to bust my ass. I just had to bust my ass. Yeah.
So how did you decide to go over there?
I did LA and I loved LA. Loved everything about LA. I'm a Laker fan. Family's there. But then I wanted to do something about New York, just the grit of it, the grind. I think from the person who's selling, the little kid who's selling candy in the subway, to those mom and pop shops on the street. Have you been to New York?
Actually, I have not.
Never? Oh my gosh.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, New York spits you, either embraces you or it spits you out. There's no in between. It literally, so there's a lot of grit behind New York, and I wanted to see if I could make it. It was more like a test. I wanted to see if I could survive. So I did it for 5 years.
And do you miss it?
Our goal is to open up an office there.
So you're like, so what brought you back over here after all that?
My mentor, who was a criminal defense attorney, is a Chinese guy. And he was a real estate developer. He says, Rick, you're doing well here. You're launching real estate and whatnot. But he's like, if you really want to propel yourself, go into a lower price market and just boom, thrive. I was doing maybe 1 to 3 properties a year over there because the price points are just
so much higher.
Heck yeah, you're talking about lowest price point is 800,000.
Yeah.
So, and it was just like making good money, but it's a lot slower moving compared to, unless I partnered up with a lot of people at that point. So, and then New York, if not careful, can be a very lonely city.
Yeah.
Just because you have everything to do doesn't mean I'm a family guy.
And people aren't like, they don't want to, when you get to a certain age too, everyone's got their own friends, and it's harder the older you get to meet a new group of friends, you know?
Yeah, I wasn't there for undergrad. I wasn't there, undergrad's party fest, right?
Yeah.
I was there for my grad program. I was a grown man. I was already 25 years old, and I was teaching full time in a super dangerous school in South Brooklyn, 27 metal detectors.
Oh my God.
The NYPD task force was employed full time at our school. There was fights every day.
Oh God.
And during Black History Month, even more fights. So, and then from there, I was head coach of the varsity basketball team, and I was coaching football and coaching track, and then I still had to take my truck, park it in my apartment, and then head over to Manhattan to do night courses at NYU. So I would get home like at 1 in the morning, Monday through Friday.
Oh my gosh.
And then still had to write crazy papers. So it was an interesting concept. I got jumped a couple times while I was teaching. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So no wonder you came back. You were like, okay, I want to come back to a little bit more calm.
Yeah. I remember when I was applying here to become assistant principal or principal in different schools, and I think one of the schools in East Atlanta Independent School District asked me the question. I laughed. Unfortunately, in the interview, they said, how are you going to handle the problem child? And I looked at him and I'm like, there's no problem child in El Paso.
You're like, no.
I could handle them. We have good people here.
Yeah.
We really do have good people here. Now in South Brooklyn, they'll get up in your face and test you.
Oh my God.
They will test you. And so, yeah, it's a very different process.
So you were going to be a teacher, and then you decided to be...
No, I was a teacher for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
I was a public high school teacher for 12 years, basketball, football, track coach, licensed principal. But I was already doing real estate. I was doing real estate since I was 19 years old. I bought my first home at 19 in California. Okay. And that passion never really left. I didn't have the passion to try to maybe start my own brokerage, but then it was a necessary evil. Like if I was going to be doing so much investing, I was just throwing away my commission. Yeah. So it made sense.
And then when did you open up the brokerage here?
When I moved back. So I moved back in 2010.
Okay.
I think I moved back around 2008, 9 or 10.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to remember when I met you. It's been a while now.
More than 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm like, it's been a while now, but I think the thing that I love about you is you guys have a completely different brokerage than some of the other ones too. I think each brokerage brings its own set of, everyone's different, and I feel like each brokerage fits for different people, and I feel like yours is really nice because you have more of a boutique feel, and you have, how many agents do you guys have right now?
13.
Yeah.
The good thing is I've never really recruited, not because I haven't, my niche or my vision is not to mass consume agents and not mass produce. It has to be the right fit for me. They have to have the right drive, the right grit, humble, be willing to take the shirt off their back to help others. We live in a very gimme society where what's in it for me, what's in it for me. So like when I get the right feel, I just know that they're willing to serve and willing to help, and it kind of creates this kind of tight family. The good thing is that it's just the way God works. I mean, I haven't recruited, and by August we're gonna double the number of agents. So we're at 13 because I've kept it tight, and we're gonna now have 13 new ones coming in by August. And I guess that's where my passion is. I'm teaching, coaching, mentoring. So.
You're still teaching, and I think the thing is with you guys being a tight knit is you give them a lot of your time, a lot of your knowledge.
Too much sometimes. Too much. I feel like a dad. I feel like a dad.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, because they're like asking all these questions and they want to know, and so I get it. That's why you're like
Christmas, birthdays don't matter, but that's okay. That's what you signed up for. That's what you signed up for.
That's the truth. That's a God honest truth. Yeah. So like if an agent's wanting to go to your brokerage, what do you what's the interview process, or how does that even work?
For me, I got tired of them interviewing me. Because we would have like anywhere from 5 to 10 agents a month constantly wanting to come on board. And there's this misconception that people don't really know me. They think, oh, it's small, it's small. It's small by design. That's a big difference. By choice, I haven't, because if I really wanted to recruit, there's enough grumpy agents out there that I could probably steal some agents from other brokerages. It's just not my style. It really is not. Some of the interview questions that I want to know is like, you know, why real estate? Why real estate? And I have to understand what makes them tick.
Yeah.
If they're in it for the money, then it just won't resonate with me. I'm always a firm believer that if you have a passion, have a why, the money follows your ass. It follows you. Yeah,
because you're dedicated to, like, my why is my family, my kids, so my ass is working all the time.
Absolutely.
You know?
If your son looks at you and says, Mommy, I'm hungry and haven't eaten 5 days, your butt's going to get to work.
Exactly.
If you don't have a strong enough why.
But if I'm single and I don't have... Like if
I
just want to buy, like,
if the Gucci purse or the new boobs and ass,
it's just not gonna. I mean, obviously I haven't gotten that, but I'm like one of these days. Just kidding, but no, I completely agree. If you don't have that why, but like a true why focus, then you don't have a reason why you're gonna hustle. Like the material things, they go away after a while. Anyway,
absolutely. You're spinning your hamster cage. That's all you're doing. Because then at that point you become transaction driven. The deal drives you, and you're just servicing that. And I'm always talking to my agents. There's 2 phases of the real estate transaction. It's like you're either in the income servicing or you're the income producing phase. In the income servicing phase, you're in the transaction mode, checking up on option money, checking up on an insurance binder, checking up on inspection. You're not making freaking money, but agents are so focused on making sure that deal goes through that they're servicing the deal. But where the moneymaker is where you just put that on autopilot and then prospect the shit out of everything. And that's income producing. Things that will get you new clients, getting in front of new people, networking with the right people. Where you think, well, I haven't put that under contract yet, but that's where you're planting the seed. And when you plant the seed, all you have to do is put it on autopilot after that and follow up. And then eventually that's going to become a contract.
Well, and I think the thing I like about you is you don't get involved in all the real estate drama. You're just like,
you mean like going to parties and
you're just like, because sometimes people are like, well, who's Rick? Oh, well, you get a lot of fun stories. That's for sure. I have a lot of entertainment when I do it. I'm sure. But no, I think that's what I love about you is that sometimes people are like, well, who's Rick? And so sometimes I'm always like, he's the coolest dude ever. And it's just really fun because actually the last time you really met everyone was when y'all went golfing together.
When?
With my husband.
That was a good one.
And, everyone, like half the people hadn't even met you and they had such a great time with you. And I was laughing. I was like, yeah, this is why we get along really well.
Flying under the radar is pretty important. I'm a lone ranger, Victoria. No, my favorite animal, you want to guess?
What is it?
Eagle. Eagles don't fly in big herds, right?
They just fly
by themselves. And I prefer solidarity. I really do. I get annoyed by big mass groups of people that just follow herds. So I don't think it's revolutionizing that way. So I've always been that way. I've always kept my circle super, super tight. And I'm way different than you in that regard. Like, you have a skill.
No, I think for me, I'm very like easygoing. So I can understand different people's reasonings why they do things, I guess. That's why I might not agree with it, but I understand and I respect it. So I'm always like, okay, I can understand why this person seems a little crazy. So I think it just takes that time, but I'm pretty like laid back.
I think in the real estate sector, you've probably seen it all. You've seen the a-hole, you've seen the giving, you've seen everything, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I try to stay away from all that.
You're like, I'm not going to get involved in the drama.
I mean, it's hard. This is a dog-eat-dog world. It really is. People, when they come to me with this perception, like it's going to be like HGTV or like Bravo, Chip and Joanna Gaines is going to be, and I'm like, it's nothing like that. It's realtors will take your clients if you're not careful. Yeah. They'll do you dirty if you're not careful. It's a very aggressive field if you're not careful, and it's meant for not guppies, it's meant for sharks. Yeah. I still believe you could be a good shark. Yeah. There's enough for everyone, but it's not, if you're passive,
Yeah.
it's going to be tough.
No. You have to have that killer instinct.
Yeah. Yeah. In your field as well.
Yeah. Well,
anything in sales,
you have to.
Where you have to convince people.
But I actually, I love it. I even to this day,
you could tell.
People will still laugh because I still do cold calls for our sales staff. Yes.
Do you?
I get my ass on the phone and I still do the cold calls. And the reason why I do that is because I want to lead by example for all of our sales staff to say, to really know that you're going to, if you can build a relationship with somebody that doesn't know you, then you're able to really get out there and appreciate what referrals and stuff you can get. And like, it's getting to know your client too, because you can text somebody and you can say, hey, do you want an insurance quote? Yeah. But you're not building a relationship. Like if I call somebody and I hear kids in the background, I'm like, you know what, hon? I have 2 kids too. My life's a happy hour all the time. So I think, that's you getting to know. And because I feel like sometimes, especially, and I'm not trying to dog because I'm not that old, but I feel like the younger generation is used to just texting all the time and not having that human interaction.
Preach.
And I constantly tell people, I'm like, get your ass on the phone and really talk to and get to know that client, because the other thing too is just as easy as you got to sell from a text message, they're going to leave you a year later when they find a cheaper insurance rate.
Yeah, and one of the Zoom meetings that we had with my agents, you're hitting home with me, because right now, agents that are suffering, it's for only one reason. They're freaking lazy.
Yeah.
And I hate saying it, but it's the reality. We have an excuse to pick up the freaking phone now and call people. Hey, Victoria, say you were a cold lead.
Yeah.
Or a warm lead. Hey, Victoria, I know the last time we talked, it's been XYZ day, blah, 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 blah. But all I'm calling for is I really want to know, how are you and your family doing? How's Justin doing? How's so-and-so? Your job is okay? Kids are okay? Great. We'll be here for you. You now have an excuse as an agent to pick up the phone and create dialogue that's more substantial than via text. And then if you've connected, then you could go back to your normal way and text. But we have an excuse now. Yeah. And that excuse is easy. The whole world's changing. Check up on your cold leads or your warm leads and then make them a hot lead.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I'm more like, make them your friend. Like I even had one agent yesterday. She's like, I'm calling you this week with a bunch of favors, and I said, don't worry, I call you every day for quotes. So it works both ways, and I'm always into connecting people because it's a relationship. It works both ways. If I can't help you, then you're going to be like, oh, this is some insurance lady that's just asking for my business again. So I'm all about building that relationship with somebody and keeping that relationship for a long time, because you don't know when you're going to need their services or their stuff.
Who do you get that from, mom or dad?
Both of them. They're both.
I'm sorry, I'm asking you the question.
No, they're both pretty killer instincts. So I mean, but I'd say it's both of them. It just depends on the day.
Yeah, they are. They're both kind, but they're both savages.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah. I don't know how they work together.
I love your parents.
They're crazy. Yeah. It's never a dull moment in that office.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, it's always fun.
I could imagine. We have a family business, so trust me and Isaac, we sometimes go at it, and then like everyone in the office knows, like, okay, Rick and Isaac, like, he doesn't come for a day or two, but we're men, so like we don't carry grudges. I just tell him, get your ass in the office, let's rock and roll, we got this to do, and he just comes. But
so what's his personality and your type of personality?
Very different, and that's why that's why it works. He's really chill. Yeah. He's really chill. I'm very system driven. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning religiously, unless something really kind of makes me deviate from that schedule. And he gets shit done, but at his way.
His pace.
But he gets it done. But he's a lot more relaxed and chill when it comes to things. Things don't impact him the same way.
Yeah.
And so it works. For whatever reason, it works. But we're very, drastically different.
Well, it's kind of good though, because it makes you see, okay, well, it works for him. How it works out. Yeah. I mean, so between the three of us, it's completely different how the three of us work. So I can't. It's always like a yin and a yang type of situation. But I love it because my dad deals with all.
What about you? Don't want to be with Justin, just helping him out?
I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I think he would be like, you'd be a pain in my ass.
Really?
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be able to.
I don't know. I think he understands that I need my own way of doing things because I am a very type A personality. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm very I'm a system person too. If you tell me deadlines, if you tell me this, that's how I work. If something gets out of my schedule, and especially too, because you have kids too. I plan everything out. Like if we have events or we have different things, and I'm the PTA person, that I have to make sure that everything's planned out. So if I have something that gets in my schedule that it wasn't planned, that's when I get pissed.
And then how do you navigate that when mom mode kicks in and you feel guilty or not guilty, and just establishing that, hats off to you guys. You guys carry a different sense of love than that. Like I when I go visit my mom, I'm just like, how the hell, when we were broke, how the hell did you have 6 kids and feed us all, and then get involved and be a pastor's wife and do all those things? Like, hats off to you guys.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I think honestly, it's a constant struggle because before I had, I could just be insurance game mode, do it 24/7. And then obviously when you have kids, it changes everything, and you only have them little for so long. But I also want them to know that things just don't come. You're not going to get those clothes just from sitting on your ass all day. Mom and dad are both working their asses off. And I think you have to lead by example and show them that too,
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of where I have to be like, okay, you also don't want to raise them to be, I don't mind if they're spoiled, but I don't want them to be bratty. I want them to know hard work and stuff.
But don't we all say that? But then no one, it's like, my kids are, compared to how I live.
Oh, I know.
I was poor. Like my kids, I'm like, they're never gonna live the same life ever.
No,
ever. So.
And you don't want them to. I kind of do. I kind of do. Like my mom would prep us when we were at Kmart, like in the Northeast, and she would prep us. Do not embarrass me by asking me for a freaking toy. I'm broke. I have no money. Yeah.
Like don't go there. So like I don't think I've ever had that conversation with my son. Like he already knows. Can I get 1 toy or 2 toys? And I'm like, no, you're not gonna get any. But
then you feel bad, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, I'll be a douchebag dad sometimes though. I don't really care. Like he has a Toys R Us facility at his house.
Well, I was telling my parents actually this weekend, we were laughing because Lucas, he's used to both of the grandparents have a pool. And because of my son, he has to have it at 90 degrees for the pool.
Who does?
My 3-year-old son.
He wants it at 90?
Because it's too cold.
Oh, God
but
bless
when
him.
my ass was growing up, we had that cheap ass pool cover, and my dad's like, we're not turning on the heater. You want to go in the pool, get your ass in the pool. And I just always remember that. And I was making fun of him. I'm like, Dad, like you never turned on the heater or did any of that. But because Lucas,
it's different.
Yeah, it's completely different. So it just makes me laugh that I'm like, they live the
grandparents
life.
are different. Yeah. It's okay. I like seeing my dad, this tough exterior Mexican dad who was really tough with us, really, really tough with us. And then when he sees my son, he's just asking my son for like a big old hug. He's like, give me a big old hug. Don't give me a little hug. Give me a big old hug. And to see my dad kind of evolve as a person, it's really cool to see.
How have your kids been handling being home and everything?
I don't know. My daughter, she's autistic, nonverbal. You already know that, right? So she doesn't know any better. She doesn't know if it's Monday or Friday. She doesn't know any better. Luca does. And but he enjoys it. He enjoys being with me. He enjoys going to grandma and grandpa's house.
Yeah.
I think they're living the best life they could possibly can.
You're like, he's fine.
COVID doesn't impact them. They're for them, it's just living life. Living the dream, no bills. I mean, you wake up and play with your Legos. Come on, man.
Well, I would Lucas is about to kill his little sister. So
really, he's pissed off at her. Or?
Yeah, well, because she's very I'm getting my payback because she throws tantrums and everything if she doesn't.
She is or he is?
She is. He's chill, but if you take something away she wants, she starts crying.
She's diva.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
So he's literally wants to kill her every 2 seconds. Yeah. So everyone's like, is he a good big brother?
That's how I was with my older sister. I love her, but when I go visit her in LA, it's before I leave, we fight. Yeah, before I leave, we fight, and we make up.
Yeah.
We fight hard, but we make up hard. We she's my sister. I got in 6 or 7 fist fights growing up because of my sister.
Oh my gosh.
Defending
her because she's like, my brother's gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, or just guys are douche.
Yeah.
And they don't care. I remember after football practice one time, my best friend. He's a linebacker. And my sister passed by and they were in volleyball practice. And you know the high school volleyball girls, they're in
the little shorts.
Spandex at the time and, you know, big old butt. And the guy, he said something like crude, and before he finished his sentence, I just turned, man, he's my best friend.
Oh my God.
Before he finished his sentence, I just, boom, and started fighting on the gym floor. And,
oh my God.
Yeah, but hey, 4 brothers, like 2 sisters, yeah, it was you gotta hold your own.
So how do you guys do the family dynamics? How does that work with all you guys together? Is everyone pretty?
Half of us live in town, half of us live out of town, but when we get together, desmadre. It's a big desmadre. It's you're talking about, we're loud, we love music.
Yeah.
Kids are running around. They're holding on and jumping on grandpa and grandpa. And I love it. I love that dynamic, that togetherness. We fight hard, but we're super competitive. The reason why we fight so hard is because we compete for everything. It was a competition just to get to the restroom when we were growing up. So like if we're playing Monopoly, my mom wants to kick our ass. Like, and so I see her play with her grandkids. She's playing Monopoly and she's like, oh no, this is what happened. And my mom, they're 8.
Yeah.
They're trying to kick an 8-year-old's ass. Like, why, Mom? She's like, they got to learn.
Yeah.
And I love that.
You're like, yeah, well,
I love that.
You got to teach them.
You got to learn. Got to be competitive in our family.
Oh my gosh. So what did your parents teach you that that hits home, that you use on your everyday?
Just be grateful every day, Victoria. I mean, when my parents hit like 68, 69, I realized I may not have them for a very long time. And that's when all the lessons really started flourishing for me. Like I was like, man, I remember my dad said that. Just little things that my parents did. When I was starving in New York, my mom would send me tortillas de harina in a care package. Like, like to be giving of your time. So I think that is don't be selfish of your energy, time, and money for other people. That's the biggest thing.
And I think when you're younger, you take advantage of your parents because you never think that, you never think anything's going to happen to them. And then as they start getting older, you're like.
Yeah, my dad, he's kind of crude. And I walk in the house and he's like, again? Like, again?
So are you a mama's boy?
I think all the boys in the family are. My mom hooks it up. She knows how to cook. I was a basketball, football player and track athlete. And every game when we would go play like a playoff game or out of town, my mom would wake up at 3 in the morning and she would make us like 50 burritos.
Oh my God.
For the whole football team.
Oh my God.
So she would make enough for the whole football team. So that's the kind of servant mom that her spirit was just giving. So yeah, my football coach or my basketball coach, they wouldn't let me in the bus if I didn't have burritos.
The burritos. So that worked out perfect. But that's why too, I think all boys are closer to, as much as I made fun of my husband, I'd be like, you're a mama's boy. And now my son's like.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
It just happens naturally, I think. Yeah. And I think too, cause like when you are the same gender, you tend to be a little bit more tough. Like I'll probably be tougher on Nicole than my husband. My husband's already like, he lets her get away with everything.
He's a lot more chill?
Yeah. Well, and he's just more chill in general. I'm the crazy one, but maybe that's why it works out perfect. He's like, I don't want to deal with you all the time.
So what has been your, since you've been doing this for a while now, 15, 16 episodes, how many episodes in?
We're in 17.
What are the challenges that you're facing?
The challenges are probably, well, when it was COVID, it was doing the Zoom. I hate Zoom. It was like, because like people's Wi-Fi and stuff would drop and then, or I couldn't hear everything. So the show had to go on and it was completely live and not edited. But I think with doing a podcast, you don't realize how much work goes into it. So anyone that has a podcast, I really appreciate, I respect everyone that does it, because to constantly put out content, to constantly do anything, it takes a lot of work.
When I do my stuff, people don't realize that you have to. It's a lot of work. So God bless everyone who does that. It's a lot of work, and to just somehow make it valuable and interesting enough. So.
Yeah, I mean, I
love your stuff.
Thanks.
You did good.
I'm like, I try to keep it interesting, but it's always something.
Heck yeah.
I think too with social media, it's become such an important part of marketing and our day-to-day business. And even though and El Paso's like really behind on a lot of the tech stuff.
Everything.
But eventually it always happens that they come up, and I'd rather, I want to be ahead of that before it just hits and people are like, wait, I don't know what TikTok is, or I don't know how to use Pinterest, or I don't know how to do all that stuff. And I'm constantly having to reteach myself, and you are too. So it's like, I feel like the social media part, people don't realize how much work goes into all that stuff.
I mean, even more so for me.
Yeah.
Than it is for you. You're a girl. I sometimes I'm like, man, if you are a female, so females out there that are driven and humble and want to work their ass off.
Yeah.
Like anything in sales, you'll kill it because of the social media craze that's going on. It's harder for a grown man like myself to kill it that way. Because I have to provide content. Everything about what I put out is about, I have to provide as much content as possible so that at least the people out there that are serious buyers or sellers who will look at me or my companies like, okay, they know what they're talking about, right? But like if you're 20 to 30 and you're a female and you're hardworking and you're smart and you're pretty, social media is going to be your best friend.
Yeah. Well, and here's my problem is that
I'll get 15 likes. They could produce the same thing
and they'll get
100, 200 likes. I'm like, how?
Well, and some of them because I want to make sure too, because then when you're female too, you're dealing with the male and female.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I would just, have the tits and boobs out and everything, I would get so many more
Triple
followers.
the volume.
Yes. I'm like, why do I have to be legitimate?
More guns for Justin.
I'm like, damn it.
More guns for Justin.
And he would be okay with it. But I'm like, damn it. Why do I have to be have a conscience and do all that stuff the right way?
It's a tough world to be a female now,
I
right?
know. Like if I could just do one ass shot, I guarantee you I could do it.
Absolutely. It's the world we live in, unfortunately. And, I just don't get it. Sometimes I don't get how someone that has no skill set could label themselves as a public figure, but they have a shit ton of followers. And I'm like, but it works for them. I don't get it.
That's why I'm always like,
I have to think with analytics to produce my stuff. I literally have to think it out. Like, what am I? Okay, I'm gonna do a motivational post. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I'm sorry, man. If you're a pretty female, but you have the brains to go behind it, you'll go. This is the time for you. It's the time.
We'll see. I'm like, we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know, in the next couple years how it goes. But I'm like, whatever works, whatever I can do to provide. Because my thing too is you want to educate people and provide them with information. And I think that a lot of times when people are buying a home, they're getting thrown out so much information.
That's the only criticism that I have about El Paso's real estate industry is, and I think certain brokers and certain realtors really do a good job. So I'll make my disclaimer there before I make something disgruntle a lot of people right now with what I'm going to say, is that there's a lot of uneducated realtors here in El Paso. There really is. And it's unfortunate that I say that because there's certain industries that you just got to learn. That you constantly got to keep learning and figuring it out and understanding what the market's doing, And I think here, because we've been so blessed we've been riding the coattails of great new construction, just a great economy locally, that we really haven't taken a dip. But now we're taking a dip. And the market's hot because of a shortage that's going on. But the bad realtors are going to be exposed.
Yeah.
And I think there's not enough skill set in our industry locally. Yeah. And I know people will get offended by that. I'm not talking about the good ones. You guys are straight. I'm talking about if I click on someone, if I look at someone, it can't just be superficial. You got to provide some sort of information so that someone looks at you as a leader in that space in some sort of fashion. Do you think that? I know you don't want to say yes or no, but you don't think there's a big discrepancy between the good realtor and then the bad realtor? Answer carefully.
I think you can tell right away.
You can?
I mean, I have a pretty good bullshit meter. I mean, I've been doing this for so long. Yeah. But I think you can tell right away if someone's got it. Or like you said, you can tell by talking to someone, they have it or they don't have it. And I think, like you said, we're just really spoiled here. Wow. People in California, those areas.
It's compete. It's dog eat dog. You can't BS your way to a deal over there. And when I moved back from New York City, Isaac we were buying stuff in California, Scottsdale, Phoenix, different parts of the country.
Yeah.
And I realized that the realtors here were just opening the door to a home.
Yeah.
That's all they were doing. Opening up the lockbox, opening the door. And I would ask them, hey, what can my cap rate be on this? What's my cash on cash return? If I put this much, what do you think my rate here would be? It's like I was looking deer in the headlights. They didn't understand how to do any of that. They just, oh, like this is nice, you could decorate. But it was very vanilla elementary stuff. And I realized that there was a big need for the investor-minded agent who has experience as an investor and could bring forth that knowledge to create repeater clients that are investors. There's just a big gap.
Well, because you have a lot of investor clients too, including yourself, so they understand, okay, like if you're showing me a house, you know what my rate of return is going to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just think, I think for me, like if I'm going to put my discretion, because investing is discretionary income. It's not your primary income. Investing is your discretionary income. If I'm going to put discretionary income in the hands of a person that's a realtor, they better bring it, Victoria.
Yeah.
They better freaking bring it.
Hard-earned money.
There's so many other realtors. Anyone could open up a lockbox. So they better be able to tell me, like when I hear realtors, they will post on Instagram, wow, check a great investment property on the property description, great investment property. And I'm like, how do you figure? It's overpriced. There's no cash flow. If you run the basic numbers and you're spitting out garbage to investors, and that's why investors don't take you serious, because run the numbers for that.
Yeah.
Have the balls to tell the investor this is a crappy property. The numbers aren't good enough for them.
Because usually investors are pretty, if they've been doing it a long time, they're not.
You'll trick the newbie.
Yeah.
You'll trick the newbie, but like if I was just an investor and I would call a realtor and say, hey, show me some property, I could tell right away. I could so tell right away if the realtor there studies the game. And if all they show me is MLS properties, then I know that they don't know what to do.
You're like, no, I want the off the grid. What am I going to get a deal on?
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
I want to know that your family's arguing is about to sell.
Yeah.
I want to know that Theo passed away and the family's looking to sell because they don't want it.
You want to get the best bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
You're
so
investing.
That's where you're able to get the better deals. Not that I haven't bought any stuff off of the MLS, but 80% of the stuff is off market, off grid.
So this property, by the way, is beautiful. And so what made you decide to do the Airbnbs, or how did that come about? Because you did the rental. You have rentals.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do the Airbnb stuff?
You know, Airbnb space, even though I'm not inventing anything new here, but for El Paso, it's fairly new.
Yeah.
Extremely new, and just the criticism that El Paso, people have this misconception that Airbnbs for destination places like Miami, Chicago, New York, LA, San Diego, Cancun, and that's true. But El Paso is family. And El Pasoans do have big families. And so the reality is that I realized that there wasn't even a lot of data as to a lot of hosts. And so I found that that there's a gateway for me to kind of jump into. And to give you this perspective, like this is what we call in the real estate world a single family residence. It houses one family, one single family. And if I were to rent this out, let's say I would probably get anywhere from 800 to 1100, depending on the market conditions, right? So the highest and best form of a single family is not to rent it out to get passive income, because if you are renting this house, you and Justin, and then you guys become bad tenants, you guys don't clean, you guys destroy the property, let's say you guys skip out on rent, I go from 100% occupancy to 0% occupancy like this.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not the best algorithm for me. The room for error is too large. And when I go to a listing appointment and the seller tells me, well, I just want to rent it, and I say, why?
Yeah.
This is not meant to be rented, this is meant to be sold. And that's what I tell my agents whenever they give you that objection. The highest and best use of a single family residence is to sell, because the highest and best use of multifamily is to rent.
Yeah.
Now if I have a quadplex, right?
I agree.
And you have one bad apple, you go from 100% occupancy to 75% occupancy. Your plan is still good. You're still passing. You're still surviving. But from 100% to zero, that's just too much of a risk. and not enough return.
Yeah.
So I decided to supercharge my rent. Instead of going with a single family home, I just then said, I'm going to bring as many families as possible, short-term rentals through Airbnb. So if for example, I have one on Trowbridge that I probably collect anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 a month.
Wow.
It's 1,000 square feet. What would you pay for 1,000 square feet in El Paso? Would you pay $3,000 a month?
No.
Hell no, you wouldn't, right? So that's supercharging.
Yeah.
That's putting a steroid shot on your portfolio. I probably would get. I did it nice, but I probably would get like $800 to $1,000. That's it.
And then if you still have to find new renters, you still have to clean it out.
Absolutely. And what I found is that the condition of my Airbnbs are retained at a higher value because they're not there for a whole year and they're not messy for a whole year. They're not leaving the leak, unattended to for 5 months. Here, my cleaning lady comes after you leave. The towel rack is broken. My maintenance guy comes in, gets it corrected before the new guest books. So the condition of all my Airbnbs is sustained at a much higher level, and then they're clean constantly. So as a result, like my property looks good. Yeah, it looks good, and I'm triple charging what I should be getting, and then I'm bringing the awareness to travelers that El Paso is a cool, hip spot. And I really, Martin and I, we partnered, my realtor, he just did an amazing job project managing this for me. But we really try to create spaces that have charm, that have character, that's just not the basic carpet.
No, you're like the old school type of look. Well, even your office.
Yeah.
Because it's down the street from here. But I love it because it's like the old. You guys brought the old with the new, but you keep like all the historical things intact. Absolutely. And it looks really, really nice. And I think the thing is too, like sometimes people when they visit, they want to have a kitchen. They want to have, especially if you get tired of eating out all the time if you're here like a week or so. Absolutely. So I get a lot of messages from people regarding the Airbnb space and whatnot, but I strictly am doing it for that, to jumpstart a much quicker path for retirement. And just think about it, like when people ask me, where should I start? Well, just start with one. Yeah. Like start with one. Figure out a way to get one and do it. Think about it. If every single one of my Airbnbs cash flows minimum, let's say 1,000, maximum, this one would probably could rent for $3,500 a month. Yeah. Like if I do 25 to 27 days and I rent it for $100, $110 a month, and then plus I charge cleaning. So I'll charge you cleaning. Let's say I charge you $70 to book my space to clean, a cleaning fee, and then I'll pay my cleaning lady $50, but they're on contract with me. They're happy because they're getting volume. Yeah. So I'm plus $20, $25 each time someone books. So I'm not losing out on cleaning. No. It's beautiful science, beautiful algorithms, and the numbers are just amazing when you really think about it that way. So, are you focusing more on Airbnbs now? Is that your thing? I still flip, but I'm getting older. I'm 40. If this is, I have a quadplex, 2 quadplexes that I haven't touched yet. That we're gonna, and they're close by. Everything's close by to my office. 2 quadplexes that I haven't touched yet, or 2 duplexes each that I haven't touched yet, and so. Think about it, if you hit 20, we're at 19 units, and they're cash flowing $1,500, $3,000 a month. Yeah. I don't have to bust my ass as a realtor. Yeah. I don't have to bust my ass as a broker as much. And that's what I love about you is you think of different ways. It's not just the typical, you sell a home, you rent out a home, or you're looking at it as a business, what's the best way I can make my money. And absolutely. You got to leverage. And the reality is that I'm aware that this is a young man's game. I will outwork the young man right now because they wake up too late. It's mathematically impossible for them to catch up to an old man that wakes up early. So that I'm comforted on, but I'm still aware of my weaknesses. My weaknesses are that it's a young man's game. But the one thing that I've learned is that I'm just going to leverage my time. I'm going to leverage my time. Every home that I get allows me more time so that I could have on my side. And like I said, you collect 10 properties, 1 each year. That's 10 properties in 10 years. It's slow. That's very slow. That's very conservative. Yeah. But if you're cash flowing $1,000 to $1,500 a month,
That's $10,000 a month. What would you guys do extra with cash flow, passive income, $10,000 a month? You're making six figures in El Paso. Six figures in El Paso on cash flow, not on your hard-earned primary.
Money.
Yeah, that's great. Why wouldn't anyone want to do that?
So what's your biggest advice for people that are looking to get in the Airbnb game?
You have to run it like a bona fide hotel, like a system. Like I have payroll. You can be cheap. Don't think that you're going to be the cleaner. Absolutely not. Like my executive assistant, she just does an amazing job putting up with it. She answers calls left and right, and she just does an amazing job. But you got to have your team has to be like an assistant to be your concierge. You have to be that concierge. Your response rate has to be at above 90, 100%. You gotta have 5 or 6 cleaning ladies, because your cleaning ladies, sometimes they can't always get there. They're human beings. So that was some of the learning mistakes that we had. So have 5 to 6 cleaning ladies and have them on call. You're next, because if you don't want the job, someone else gets it. And you just give them volume. Just those are the things that I would recommend. And find a property that you could renovate on the cheap.
Yeah.
On the cheap. Call us.
You're like, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And anyone that's looking into real estate right now, what advice would you have for them, like a young buck that's ready to get involved in real estate?
Now is the perfect time.
Really?
Absolutely. Now is the perfect time. Disaster, uncertainty, turmoil usually creates opportunities for the cream to rise to the top.
Yeah.
The majority of my early investment money I made during the 2008 recession, on the wake of the 2009 and whatnot. And so I think if you prime yourself in a position where you become valuable, you're in the best position. So get a mentor. Number one, get a mentor. Be humble enough to accept coaching and advice from someone who's already been there, done that. And don't get a mentor who's 2 years older than you, 3 years older than you. Get someone old, someone who's had the uppercuts thrown to their face, someone 5, 10, 15 years older than them. No disrespect to a smart guy that's only 2 years older than you, but they, in my opinion, they just haven't been through enough. They just haven't been through enough.
Well, like this COVID thing.
Absolutely. No one's been through that.
No one. And, say 10 years from now, you have somebody young that comes in and you're like, we went through it. You have different circumstances. And 2008, too, that they haven't been through, and you have. There's certain people that I think it's easy when everything's good, but when things are bad, that's when you learn all your...
Yeah, it's hard. I was 25, my mentor was 58. So think about the age gap, and he was Chinese and I was Mexican. Think about that. Like you're two different. He was a jerk. He was from Brooklyn. He lived in Brooklyn, and I was a small little, kid from Anthony, Texas. There was just a big gap for us, but I knew I wanted to get everything that was inside that man's brain. Yeah. And so I did everything that I possibly could.
And I think with you though, you were able to humble yourself and say, "Listen, I don't know everything." Yeah. And just take it. Yeah. And you can't be too sensitive about everything.
Absolutely not. Young people are not. They're. You don't know it all, and learn from someone who. Like someone may get me on the social media platform because it's just not my space to do the things that they do, but outworking me is going to be a difficult challenge for a young buck because they just have a different niche, and my niche, I know my niche. So that's my other piece of advice. Find whatever niche in real estate you want to do and just go all in. There's no plan B. All freaking in. Are you for like doing it all, like commercial? I do commercial. We do. At this point in my career, if I get a rental lead, I don't even do buyers much anymore unless my sellers really want me to help them on the purchase. So I'm in a transition phase. I'm at a point that I don't want to be the highest production agent in my own brokerage. There's no glory for me in that. So now I'm just in the mentoring, teaching, trying to get to that next stage, and trying to acquire as many passive income based properties, so that way I can work from the laptop when I'm have my toes in the water. Yeah. That's the way to do it. You're like, that's definitely the way to go there. So what's something that most people don't know about you? What's something that most people don't know about me? Shoot, that's a good question. I'm like, I ask everyone because sometimes I'm always like surprised what people say. Like personal or business? Personal.
It can be business too.
Personal. Jesus Christ, I don't know if I would find interesting. I don't know.
Like, damn
No, there's a lot of things, but I'm a private guy.
I know
so it's
you
hard
are.
For me to just
I know.
Hard for me to spit that out. I mean.
Well, that's why I keep on getting you to drink some more wine.
I guess, and I'll just be transparent. I envy my parents enough because of the partnership that they have. So, what a lot of people don't know about me is I would want something like that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to die with a person that has that same vision to do something together.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, because it takes a lot of work, and it's
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of work.
And I think it's too respecting each other, and like you said, your mom and dad are a team, and I think it takes a lot of work to do all that.
But you and Justin are doing well though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will say the thing that I love about my husband so much is he just lets me be me. He's like, I know Victoria's gonna say something. I know she's like.
Does he ever roll his eyes at you like, oh gosh, women?
No, you know what? Honestly, I just think I always tell him, I said, if it wasn't for me, your life would be boring. And he's like, that's probably true. I think he likes it in a weird way. He's like, what are you gonna say now? But he's never. He always is the first person to support me in whatever I want to do, and vice versa. We both like when we had. When I first had Nicole is when he got promoted to be president, and it wasn't the perfect time because we had a newborn. We have a 3-year-old. It was a shit show, but I was like, we'll figure it out, and we do. We always do, and that's what. Good. And he's the same way. He's like, you know what? If we have to we always figure it out, and I'm never like, oh well, you can't do that right now, or and that's how it works. That's a partnership. Yeah. And he wants me to do well, and I want him to do well. His whole thing is he wants me to do better, so that way he can retire and I can still work.
Sugar mom, love that. Love.
He's like, that. He's like, trust me, I want to retire at 40, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So I need you to get it to it at like 45.
Yeah, my vice is I just like to work. Like my spare time, I'll work, and so. But I've been doing a lot better job. Like Saturdays, sometimes I don't take as many appointments or whatnot. I love to travel. Screw COVID. You know, like COVID sucks. Like, but yeah, I want to get to that position because 7 continents. I want to travel to crazy spots.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was my thing is that I never got to do it as much. And then once you have the younger kids, it's hard to leave for like 2 weeks or a week at a time, you know? I can do the long weekends or a couple days, but after that, then it's too hard right now. So that's what I tell my friends. I'm like, before you have kids, go on that Europe trip, go on that huge.
Absolutely.
Like the weeks, like just go.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, then you can do your weekend or long weekend trips and stuff. Because it does, life gets crazy.
Well, you guys are together, so the idea that you guys can do it together, you know, I traveled even before I got divorced a lot, and you know, but once at post-divorce, like you not have to manage and kind of co-parent, right? Yeah. That's where it becomes a little bit more difficult. Whereas you guys could just say, we're gonna go. And we don't have to worry about asking someone else. Can I? Oh,
that's true. Because then you have to say, hey, like,
can I go? Or hey, this is my day, but I need to go. So even though you aim to have that good relationship, you're in a better spot. Like you could, all you have to do is convince each other, let's take a trip.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it was, I think for us, the reason why we hadn't was last year I was pregnant, and then I had that placenta previa, so I couldn't really do anything. And then I'm like I was telling Chris, I was like, I'm a horrible pregnant person. I'm like, I'm fat. I can't eat, I can't drink, I'm no fun. Yeah. I want to go somewhere and get wasted and not have to worry about anything. And I think, so now when we were ready to go, then the COVID thing. So I'm like, so when we are able
where are you going to take it?
I don't know. We just want to go. I mean, we're pretty simple. We like the beach. I'm like, I just want to be chilling on the beach, just like.
The pina colada.
Yeah, drinking my pina colada, getting day drunk, and like chilling. That's my deal. I'm not like, I don't have to go on all these excursions, and I hate nature. So.
But he loves nature.
I know.
Gosh.
Well, it was funny. His dad was like, because they're big hunters. So his dad's like, I can tell they're trying to plan a trip to Africa. He's like, you wouldn't want to go to Africa? And I was like, if it's at the Four Seasons, I would love it. But I said, other than that.
He was going to go to Africa?
His dad's been, but they want to do it like as a guy trip. But I don't know if they're thinking about bringing the wives, which I don't care either way. But my thing is that.
You're not Africa, girl.
No, I said that's what I said. If it's at the Four Seasons,
Miami,
yeah. And if it's at the
Cancun,
Four Seasons, then I can totally do that, where I can get a massage and everything.
I was gonna go to people to know that I was gonna go to Africa to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Yeah.
You know what? I did see that you guys were like doing all the hikes, and then what happened?
I had a heart issue. So my doctor at the time just said, hey, you got to get that kind of corrected or whatnot. But I'm still going to go. Eventually, that's the goal. I want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Haven't you seen the movie?
Yeah. I mean, Mount Kilimanjaro is an interesting mountain because it's one of the few mountains, it's not the highest peak. The toughest one is Mount Everest, but it's one of the peaks where you have to get outfitted for a diaper because of the changing climate.
Yeah.
Like you go from dry to super wetlands, and then you go to like the super, super cold. So that kind of shocks your body if you're not used to that and acclimated to that ahead of time on base camp. So you're stripping of your clothes, and then you put more clothes, and then you put more clothes. And so whereas Mount Everest, you already go with that mindset, it's cold as shit.
Yeah.
It's cold. And you prepare. But whereas Mount Kilimanjaro, it's hot, then it gets super wet, or then it may get super, super cold. So you may shit on yourself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No. Well, and we're totally opposite because he did the Boy Scouts where he did like mile hikes and he loves being outside and I'm like complete opposite. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm like, I would rather be inside and air conditioned. My allergies can't take being outside. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, Africa, you guys can go. If I'm in the hotel, I'm fine. Even skiing, I don't ski and he skis. So I stay at the spa and he goes and skis.
It's a typical guy-girl relationship.
Yeah, but I think it works great because honestly, if you did everything together, you know how boring that would be?
Yeah.
I think you'd get sick of my ass.
I could do a spa though. I could do. I could do a spa after 18 holes of golf. I could do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm like, of course. So so have you been out golfing or anything like that?
Lately, since COVID-19?
Yeah.
No. So I haven't had a chance to golf in. I think one of the last times I golfed was with Justin.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
That was a fun day.
I was
pregnant too. Remember?
Guy rule, there's a lot of things that are not said. I'm not one of those snitches get stitches.
No, I just laughed because
there was a lot of cool things.
There was a lot of cool things that happened, and then it was like.
Did he tell you like drama?
Not even. It was more like because that one lady that was running the golf tournament.
I didn't know anyone, so.
No, the lady that was running because it was at the Horizon Golf Course. The lady that was like in charge of everything. I don't know what they did, and it was like. I think it was alcohol or something because they got the T-girl or what do you call them? The one?
Yeah.
They got her wasted and then she was getting fired and then something else happened where they thought there was so much going on.
I was driving to a hole with my brother. We were behaving. I was driving to a hole.
Oh, I know my husband wasn't.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything, but
I know he wasn't.
I was driving to a hole and I saw a golf cart flipped. And I'm like, how the hell can you get so drunk that you flip a golf cart?
And that wasn't his, thank God. Otherwise, I would have killed him.
No, and they were so drunk they couldn't pick it up. These are realtors. So that was fun. It was fun. I mean,
Well, and someone had posted a video of it, and then they got, I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember exactly who posted it, but he took it down like right away because they're like, no.
Who took it down?
They had the guy take it down, and then so that was going on.
One of those golf events for me per year. That's
it was
boring.
like a whole.
I can't hang like that. I can't.
It was a whole shenanigans. So then I'm pregnant with Lucas at the time, and then that lady that's in charge, she's like, Justin's like, you need to talk to her, and he's like drunk, trying to tell me what's going on, and I'm like, why? So I'm literally like having to deal with like little kids trying to figure out what's going on, and then I have to go and tell her, I'm sorry, like.
Oh man.
They got wasted.
You have to be a politician
yeah,
there.
they're like little kids. We love it here. So, but yeah, I mean, he had a blast. And I think sometimes you need days like that where you just are like...
I don't have enough of those. I think that would be cool to get invited to those things, but I just don't have enough of those.
Well, we have to do it again. Well, we haven't been able to recently, but we definitely will do like a keg golf day. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be fun.
So what else in you? What's going on with America? What's going on with you? What's your thoughts on all that?
You know
or
what?
do we avoid that topic?
No, I don't avoid any. I don't avoid a fight. No, I think...
Did you hear what Drew Brees said?
No, what did Drew Brees say?
You didn't hear it?
No.
He caused a lot of controversy. He apologized, so hey, everyone deserves forgiveness.
What did he say?
He just kind of like ruffled a lot of feathers because of what's going on with, There's parts that I agree with. I mean, he talks about the flag and how important it is for him and his family. He talked about how he has people that served in the armed forces for his family and how the flag represents something of unity and it's America for him. And I'm in agreement with everything that was said there. But for me, just like the whole entire black community or brown community, if you want to call it, it's not about the flag right now. Yeah. For me, it's not about the flag. We're not talking about the flag. We're talking about what's going on with police brutality and human rights. And so it caught me off guard because I'm a big fan of Drew Brees. I'm a big football fanatic. I'm a big fan of Drew Brees, but I just felt like it was not sensitive to what's going on with the times. Yeah. He apologized today because he got...
I'm sure he
We're talking about LeBron
and
James.
And he's in Louisiana.
Yes, he's in Louisiana. Strong, family-knit black community.
Yes.
And they love him.
Yeah.
So why would he, but anyway, all the athletes came out, even his own receivers on his own team blasted him. They were like, what the heck? So I think there was a lot of, whatever side you're on, brown, white, black, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not about the flag, and it wasn't about the flag. I don't know why he wanted to introduce that. There's a bigger picture here. Yeah. Way bigger picture. And so it was unfortunate. What's your thoughts?
I think as a human being, and as a mom, and as everything.
Can we talk about this stuff?
We can talk about whatever we want. It's my show. Okay. We can do whatever we want.
All right, go ahead.
I am very sympathetic to the mothers that have lost their sons to police brutality. And I think, and this is why, and again, I'm controversial. I am a libertarian because I do not want any type of government telling me what to do. I feel like when you give people too much power, they take advantage. I just think it's human nature. And I feel like you give... And just like the COVID thing, we all laid down and stayed home and did what the government told us to do. And I just don't want any government telling me what to do. If I'm going to die, you know what? I have my Lord and Savior, and then it's my time. Yeah. And it's my right to be able to do whatever I want to do. Yeah. And I think that you have a lot of people in government, both sides, that they have all these ties with like pharmaceutical companies. Everyone's in it.
Absolutely.
So it's... So why are you giving these people all this power? And I feel like with the police brutality and with race, I still can't believe that we're dealing with this. And we are, because it's
the same story 50, 60 years later, ridiculous. Right? Isn't it crazy?
And I mean, you see the statistics on how many more African Americans are in the jail communities. And it's really sad because when you're dealing in the areas that we were when we went to college and stuff, because you're dealing with people of different income levels, you really don't see that, but it's in the normal day-to-day stuff that you do see that a lot more often. Right. So it just breaks my heart. I do think that there needs to be changes, but I do feel like there needs to be less government control over all.
I love that. I love that. I think if my experience in New York, I would have had a different opinion. But just think about this, like in New York City alone, at the time that I was living there, you would be in Manhattan, and then you could take a train ride, and it'd take you 15 minutes to get from Manhattan to, let's say, the Bronx. And in that 15-minute train ride, Victoria, you go from the richest congressional district in America to one of the poorest congressional districts in America. Yeah. That shouldn't happen in a 15-minute train ride.
Well, no.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so there's a big disparity between what's going on and the reality is, my NYU professor who also taught at Harvard and wanted me to go there. He was a minority. He was black and Puerto Rican or Dominican or whatnot. Brilliant man, because he had a doctorate degree out of Berkeley and Stanford, and also taught at NYU and Harvard. I mean, this guy was a brilliant man and a minority. But he would always talk about, the reason why he resonated with me, he would always talk about, he's like, minorities or people of color, brown or black or yellow or whatever color you want to associate with, when you make it big in this country, you make it in spite of the system, not because of the system. And that resonated with me because it's true.
Yeah, it is.
I got discriminated on by my NYU professor. I graduated magna cum laude, but she gave me all D's on all my papers. And I didn't think my paper was a D. Granted, no one thinks their paper was a D, right? So I fought it. My friend Luke, white guy from Kansas, I fell in love with Luke. He was an awesome guy. And I said, let me read your paper because you keep getting A+.
Yeah.
And I kicked his ass. My paper was just better annotated, better data, and he knew it. He's like, why are you getting a D? And that's when I realized. So I went to the dean. I went above.
What'd they say?
And they were like, well, let's look into it. And then I did something crazy. Then I asked Luke, hey, Luke, let's switch names on our papers. Just put my name, my paper, and put Luke. And just because it had Luke, I guarantee you we're going to get a better grade. And he did. And that's when I went to the board afterwards. And then they reevaluated in a second and third professor committee. If you reevaluated my previous papers and switched my grades. So I graduated with honors. But that's when I realized I'm not in El Paso anymore. I have to freaking fight for what I want to do. But I shouldn't have been put into that position. They should have just graded my paper based off of the words on my paper instead of
Moreno.
Yeah. She's a racist piece of you know what.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
So how do you feel about what's going on?
You know, I have so many good friends, Victoria, that are cops, and it's unfortunate they're getting this bad rep.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I'm a firm believer that let's say, I'm getting a random stat, 80 to 90% of them, they really signed up to serve the community. Yeah. And it ruffles my feathers. It really does. But with that said, here's where I have a problem. Because there's a lot of bad cops, right? Here's where I have a problem. I have a problem with the good cops that aren't freaking
saying anything. I agree. You're just as
because
guilty.
There's good cops out there.
Yeah.
There really is. And they shouldn't be spit on at by, as an American, I have the right to protest.
Yeah.
I have the right to protest. I don't have the right to destroy business or be an a-hole to a cop. That I don't agree with at all. Poor cops that are out there, they're leaving their families, leaving wives, and all that other stuff. But just like a bully in school, there's one bully, but there's always 2 or 3 that watch.
Yeah.
Maybe those 2 or 3 didn't hit, but the 2 or 3 should know better.
Yeah.
You should know better. So if you're a good cop and you watch that crap, that should turn your stomach.
Yeah.
And the reason why they don't do anything, you see it in movies all the time, is because depending on the field that you're in, they're afraid to lose their job. Poor guys, they're a good cop, they're gonna lose their job. So you should be above that. You should say, you know, God will provide, and I'm not gonna lose my job because I'm gonna do the right thing. I think we're talking about systematic change regarding what's going on in America and people lobbying, and African Americans, black people, Asian people, all these people fighting. They should do that. They should protest. But I think the bigger change is going to be internally.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in-house where the good cops get together and say, we're not going to put up with that piece of crap cop that's racist.
Yeah.
And we're going to go tell our commanding officer. And if our commanding officer is a piece of crap racist as well, we're going to go above him.
Well, and that's why I love that they have the cameras on them, because you can see everything that's going down, which...
But don't you think that's a possibility? Is it plausible? I always ask, because one of my best friends, he's a chief, right? And I love it because he's open to hearing like my cries about that. And he's the sad thing, Rick, is there's just a lot of good cops that don't have enough nuts.
And the bureaucracy of it all.
They're afraid to lose their job, and they're the providers, and
they've
that's
already
what's
built
tough,
it up.
that they're handicapped by that process. There's exponentially better cops out there than there is bad cops.
Yeah.
Without them, we would be in a world of hurt. So salute to the good cops out there. But I think if you really want to make systematic change, they really have to bound together and say, we're not going to put up with that bad cop.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. And I think it has to be internally, and there's something that needs to be done with the bureaucracy of it all. But I do completely agree with that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a very sensitive subject, and I feel for everyone that's going through it right now, and then with COVID too. But like I tell everyone too, I'm like, these businesses are being hurt with COVID, and then you go and destroy their storefronts. How fucked up are you to do that? Like, do you understand what they're going through? And then they have to file an insurance, like even if they do have insurance, you know? So that's when it pisses me off too.
That makes me really angry. My boy, black guy from New York, graduated from NYU with me, and I told you the story off camera. He just told me that his business got looted and destroyed, and it's unfortunate because it makes me want to go out there and help my boy out. I mean, that's not the answer. It's not the answer, but like just really, you know what he told me that just gave me some wisdom. He's like, Rick, as a business owner, I'm upset.
Yeah.
But as an American, just think about this. Like, there's so many people complaining about the protests, but the basis of our country was based out of protests. The first major political war that gave us independence, I was a history teacher, so the American Revolutionary War was fought because we didn't agree with the tyranny of what was going on with the British monarchy. So why are we complaining as Americans when there's tyranny going on right now? We should embrace it. That's what our foundation of our country was built on. Now, they threw the tea over at the Boston Tea Party. Because they were getting charged, and taxation without representation. They were getting violated on their rights. So, St. Augustine said an unjust law is no law at all. So why should we abide by a law that's not fair? Yeah. So he as a business owner was complaining, but as an American, he's like, I'll rebuild. This is material. Yeah. I'll rebuild. So it's a lot of, I could go on and on about this.
I know.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the show. It wasn't that bad, was it?
No, I was a little nervous. You make me nervous, regarding, I don't know what questions you're going to ask, but you were chill.
I'm like, that's the whole point, but it's just for us to be in a conversation and for people to get to know you, because everyone knows you're a realtor. Duh. But it's to get to know you as a person, and that's the whole point of all, is to get to know everyone. Yeah. For the way I know people. And I think it's fun.
I think you know more people than most people know people, right? For sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm that popular, but...
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys subscribe to her channel.
Yes.
Press like, comment, share.
Cheers.
Stay blessed.